All right. So the first thing to know, this is C major scale, right? Again, this is 7 notes. We're just trying to get through this 7-note thing and understand that there's only 7 notes. Not that big a deal, right? So those are the major notes. This song is sort of, it moves around, but it's mostly in C natural minor.
Okay.
And this is a good exercise to understand, to start understanding how to create other modes. So if you really, really know your major scales and you've got them down, you can play them up and down, you can play some different songs in them, then you can start to alter them and it won't be that big of a deal in your brain. So in this case, for natural minor, what you're going to do is flat the 3rd, you're going to flat the 6th and the 7th.
Okay.
So it's a great, there's a bunch of major modes and a bunch of minor modes. That's sort of how I think about it. And basically all the major modes have the major 3rd, right? And then you do all kinds of fun stuff with these.
Okay.
Either like this, just think about all the different combinations you could do with these notes up here.
Yeah.
But with a major 3rd. And then the same thing goes with the minor. So you have like different combinations of these that you could do. And even with this 2nd note, it's either here or there. So basically all the notes, we call them major intervals. We have a major 2nd or a minor 2nd. Major 3rd, minor 3rd, perfect 4th, sharp 4, that's backwards. And then perfect 5th, flat 5th, major 6, flat 6, major 7, minor 7. I say flat and minor interchangeably. It's because, whatever.
I like that.
So then you take all of these notes, and with the major scale, you can have any combination of either major intervals or those intervals. You know what I'm saying? So every different one has its own characteristic that's really neat. And then with the minor scale, with the minor 3rd, so we can do that, we can do this, we can do that, we can do anything, any of those combinations. That's looking forward. I don't expect you to really, but that's a basic concept.
Okay.
So, natural minor, we're minor, and then we have flat 6 and flat 7. So the theme, I'm gonna play it up here because this is driving me out of my fucking mind. So we're going 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, and this is the minor 3rd. 4 times. And this is cool, he changes it to major.
Okay.
So it's the same thing, but now it's in the what we call the parallel major. So C minor is parallel to C major. So now, same pattern, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. So that's a transposition in itself.
Okay.
5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, in 2 different keys already. We haven't even got through the intro.
Very true.
Now the melody is in the cello, so we'll play it down here. Back in minor. And we use the same terminology, so I'm just going to say 3 when I mean minor 3. I'm going to say 6 when I mean minor 6, and 7 when I mean minor 7. So that's 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 2. Okay? And then the next part of the melody, we got 4, 7, 3, 2, 4, 7, 3, 2, 1. And then you're going to repeat that. 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 2. And then 4, 7, 3, 2, 4, 7, 3, 2, 1. And the next time you do it, it's all the same except for that second part that changed the rhythm. So starting measure 44, you're going to go 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 2. And then this time their rhythm changes and notes change a little bit too. 4, 7, 2, 3, 2, 7, 1. And then the big dramatic part. 1, 7, 1, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1. Now, what's cool about this other part, the whole, is he does it. The reason that this is so catchy is that thing repeats the pretty much the entire time, but he's moving it around, modulating it, and it's also a reference to the melody. So it's like, I like tightly composed things like this. And again, I thought this was the dumbest song I'd ever heard when I first heard it, but then it's such an earworm. It's very tightly composed, which I respect. So the melody, right? So it's, which is a longer version of, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? And he uses the rhythm when he does change it. When he changes that, instead of going, he goes, and he's using that as a way to modulate from key to key, and that's what keeps the interest. It's just like the Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Beethoven wrote like 7 minutes on that. I mean, there was a counter theme, but he got so much mileage out of just, it's the dumbest thing in the world, right? But I mean, intellectually, I think it's brilliant. It's fucking amazing. But just da 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 da, who cares? But because Beethoven, it's just fucking amazing. It just goes and goes and goes, and he plays it in any which way that you could ever think of. And that's it's a trick that the polyphonic guys used to do all the time. We're talking Renaissance, and then into the Baroque with Bach. I love Bach. I've read all of his stuff, and it's just all this kind of thing. So you take themes, you play them forwards and backwards, you lengthen the rhythm, you shorten the rhythm, you play them upside down, you stack them on top of each other, you modulate to every key that you could think of. And it's an intellectual exercise, but it's also, if done well, can be very beautiful. And it's part of one of the things that makes music impactful is repetition. But if you just played, if this was just this the whole time, it's cool, but after 4 times it becomes a minimalist composition. Have you ever heard of Stephen Reich and Philip Glass and all that kind of stuff?
Not them specifically, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you some shit. Anyway, it's just this you could do that for 10 minutes and then just sort of layer things on top of it slowly, and then it's more about just like what happens to your brain. But that's not what we're talking about. Anyway, but if you do that, if you're clever like this, people are gonna remember your shit for better or worse.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, where was I? Okay, so yeah. Minor, and then major. And then we have a little bit of melody, and then we're gonna go down here. So if you look at this, in the key of C minor, we're gonna go 2, 5, 7, 1, 2, 5. But if you look at the shape, this is C minor chord. And this is a G minor chord. So it's suspiciously familiar. So basically what he did is he took this pattern and he modulated it over to G minor. Okay? Just like we would do with our melodies, we're going to different keys. This is one of the reasons we're doing that. But this happens to also reside in our C minor scale. So we're still in C minor.
Okay.
But the pattern, you can look at it in 2 ways, in terms of G or in terms of C. And then we have more melody. And then we're back here. But now, check this out. So it's basically the same melody, but before we were starting on G, which brings us down to C. And then we did it in G minor. But now we're starting on C, and normally we would expect to go F, because C is the 5th of F. But because of the place in the song and where he's trying to take us harmonically, it's actually going to be G. and this is the top of the C minor scale. So sometimes you can wiggle the notes around a little bit, and it's fine. You still get the point across. And then what happens? He actually does the F at some point. I don't remember where. I think I fixed it. And anyway. So then that all repeats. But then when we get to the bridge, this is where you see really this kind of thing. Where, you know. This is really an example of you take the basic idea and you wiggle it around to suit your purposes. Mm-hmm. There's a whole other level of this that we'll talk about someday with counterpoint, and these. The part of what he's doing is making sure that the melody notes and these notes, when they hit together, are part of a chord that he's trying to outline, which is why that one part is really dissonant. This. That I was checking before, but he just said fuck it, basically. But it works with the strings for some reason. Sometimes things on a piano sound really different than they do when you put it in a string ensemble. It's much softer, less impactful. I used that word twice today. All right, so let's think about this in terms of C minor now again. Just for thinking about 1, 3, 6, 7, 1, 3. Same rhythm, but he's manipulating it to serve his harmonic progression. 7, 1, 7, 3, 5, 6, 7, 3. Then 5, 7, 6, 1, 4, 5, 6, 1, 5, 6, 5, 1. Now we're back to the original. 3, 4, 5, 1, then 3, 4. We're going to keep going down. 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 2, 5, 7. Back to the end, actually. 1, 5, 6, 7, 1. So basically, he's just sort of traveling down with the minor scale. He's starting here and he ends up down here. So if we look at just the top notes, those are the top notes, which is almost the same if you look at it as the melody. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, just watch the top note. This is the melody. B flat together. Now that's a harmony. We got C down here, but it's all part of the same chord. But now we're back together. Now it's a harmony, but it's part of the chord. We're in A flat. And this is the weird one. Yeah, a little bit of tension. Up. Together. Now we're together. Right? Yeah. Cool. Ramin did a good job, buddy. I hope they paid you for it.